70 and cloudy in the Classic City. We're underway. Special teams work is going to be rather limited, but they're going to see what guys can do. The ball is coming out and all the way past the 30. We'll get into that just a little bit, but they have plenty of tight ends. James Cook out of the backfield on the very first play of the game, and he's able to.
Don't know about JT Daniels in the limited time we saw him last year was how incredibly cerebral he is. Incredibly high football IQ, and we hope to see a little bit of that today.
Here's Kearis Jackson able to pick up the first down for the 3 different starters over the course of the season. Stetson Bennett will be his backup in the game today. Stetson's had limited reps this spring as they get other guys ready to go. Here's Kearis Jackson again, this time for just a couple.
Making an offense for each one of them now. He gets to focus this spring and this offseason on just building around JT's strengths.
Well, they're going to run it again. It's Zamir White, Jr.,
which is what they love to do when backside they have a guy like George Pickens. But at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see A.D. Mitchell right now, a true freshman. He's the guy that they think can fill that role.
He is a bit of an unknown coming into the season as Cook picks up a couple over the left side.
Now, tight ends and receivers in bunch sets to create conflict with the defense.
Zamir White over the left side gets bottled up. That was a 4th and 2 play. We'll see what
at Kirby and say, you want an extra yard there? You want to keep this drive going? That's a spring game, right? I mean, the head coach gets to dictate how things go.
Pocket holds for Daniels. He finds Zamir White, and White makes the first couple miss, and he rips off a nice catch at running back in the versatility.
Yeah, and this was a shot play, going play action, trying to hit something downfield. JT does a great job there. Coverage is over the top. Dump it down to one of the many guys out of the backfield that can make plays. Zamir White, one of them. James Cook and Kendall Milton as well. Very dangerous out of the backfield. And again, one of these condensed formations that I think we're going to see a lot more of this next year with Todd Monken.
Fresh set of downs. Daniels, quick hitter to the outside. That's Jalen Johnson, Jr. that would be ready to go if this were a typical game that won't be risking injury today. Quay Walker brought pressure up the middle. Couldn't quite get to James Cook.
Especially Burton. Burton's going to be a superstar next year. So they got a couple guys ready to step in place of Pickens.
We'll talk about the tight ends in the broadcast today. They got John Fitzpatrick out there right now. Daniels pressured, got a hand on him, and they will whistle it dead. Cole, what are you seeing from that big defensive line?
This group of edge defenders in college football a season ago, but that's just kind of a little run stunt there that's able to get a twist, and you get 95 back off the left side of the oppositions I'm watching for this Georgia O-line.
I've got Warren McClendon over on the right side, Truss on the left side. Bookend that offensive line, and Daniels just a hair behind his intended receiver, Demetrius Roberts.
Up tempo. He's got to lose a little weight to be able to play drive in and drive out for 4 quarters.
Yeah, Kirby hadn't been shy about that either. They sent another blitz. Daniels stands tall. There's that back shoulder of Nashville.
So I mentioned the back shoulder throw and George Pickens, right? This is a great throw by JT Daniels, and Mitchell just adjusts a little too late. This throw for a quarterback and a receiver is completely a feel.
Here's Jake Camarda on to attempt the long field goal, 42-yard attempt. And he pulled it left. And with that, Carson Beck has been getting a lot of the second-team reps. Here's Kendall Milton on first down for the black team. Jordan, what do you expect about Carson Beck?
He's the leader in the clubhouse to take that number 2 spot, but this game-type environment, that's how Kirby wants to see these guys respond and how they do respond.
Dejon Edwards gets an opportunity. 2-yard field goal kept them off the board. Beck has it batted up and intercepted. Pardon me, McConkey's on the black team. That'll go as a reception. Hey, it's a spring game for us.
I thought it was too. Looks like Beck was trying to hit a comeback to the sideline. You notice he's got a little bit of a 3-quarter release. Most quarterbacks do nowadays. They're not teaching you to go way up over the top as they did maybe 10 or 15 years ago. So that ball gets batted down. Good job off the edge.
We saw Zamir White a little bit earlier. We see Daywan Edwards just now. Going to see a little bit of James Cook, who I think is going to be the move guy in this offense. And you're right, a lot of depth, but a lot of depth at this position too.
Up the sideline, and he takes it inside.
Great job by Carson Beck. Georgia actually brings pressure from the field there, a blitz, and Beck calmly knows it's picked up, finds his one-on-one matchup down the field, and that is a huge pickup and a veteran play. That one was pretty easy, though.
Here's Jack Podlesny. Touchdown run. Let you talk us through it.
Well, you guys mentioned the puller, obviously, that you like to see there coming around and kicking the kick out. But what I really liked was Darnell Washington, the guy that we talked about a lot on the nightmare.
Those special teams work for Georgia. Since he was a junior in high school, that is a 6-day-a-week schedule when it comes to breaking down opposition film.
A different type of film study as pertains to their opponent that week.
Back foot almost intercepted.
He is going to be successful because he studies himself and how he can improve in the little things, and that's why he watches the NFL guys. And I love that he said Alex Smith with his footwork, his consistency, his balance. And so you're going to watch a lot, or I'm going to focus a lot on JT's feet as he does a really good job right here trying to avoid pressure, something more accurate and consistent like that. Love that he has that approach to the game.
McConkey back to receive this punt, takes it at the 10. And a whistle and dead after about a 5-yard return. It's already been incredibly helpful from a management perspective and kind of setting everything from practice times and coaches' schedules as Carson Beck.
Sometimes you know the plays that are coming in practice, but in a game-like environment, you got to be able to see that because that's what he's going to need to be able to do if he's called upon next year at any point.
I can't believe he weighs 280 pounds. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Kirby told us in our meetings yesterday, yeah, he's 280. And I was thinking, I'm sorry, do what? I mean, look at his waist. It looks like it's a 32-inch waist. I mean, the guy that's as good looking of a 280 as I've ever seen in my life.
Jordan, you talked about the bunch formations and missing some ex-receivers. That one batted down at the line.
And he's tight end here at the bottom of the offensive line there on the right side that can stretch the field vertical. So they got two really good complementary tight ends that can do multiple things out of that 12 personnel.
He's really worked on this spring, is getting better in pass protection. Beck throws on the run. Incomplete.
You have to have somewhat of an innate ability to change your arm angle, but also the athleticism to use your hips while on the run, right? When you're moving, you lose the power in your lower body. You got to regenerate that with your hips and your upper body, and we'll focus on that a little bit this drive. We get his hips through the throw.
Daniels is also a tinkerer as he comes out of the shotgun and is able to find Zamir White. And he was telling us yesterday,
he walked that back, and I think he noticed he probably shouldn't have said that because he reiterated later in the interview, oh, well, no, I don't know if I change it mid-drive. He probably does. But that's the thing. He's searching for the forward. Started his career left foot forward at USC, then went balance. Now he's right foot forward.
That one was on the money, but incomplete, trying to find A.D. Mitchell. He's got an interesting recruiting background. Didn't play his senior year. Wanted to be ready to play once he got to campus, formerly an Ole Miss commit.
And again, going for that back shoulder throw to A.D. Mitchell. We saw one on the money. That one, JT maybe would have wanted that a foot more outside, but that's a play that as though.
Kirby was telling us that since Mitchell wasn't playing last year, he sent him training film, literally running routes in the backyard. Kirby's like, yeah, there was a
super twitchy, a guy that just has elite get off.
4-man rush. Daniels to the outside. Here's Mitchell again. He reclassified, and he essentially
junior college because I was small and needed to put on weight. So love that he's taken advantage. Oh, again going for that back shoulder, but love that he's taken it
back together for the most part as a crew for this Georgia spring game. I'd never heard the through the shoe 20 yards downfield as a penalty before. The only thing you can do is play more balls, see more balls in the air, react to it, get on the field.
Are returning this year on the outside, so an area to watch for sure today.
And Christopher Smith was only a part-time starter post-Halloween last year. Richard was a safety there, will join the team.
And Tyke might fit somewhere in that nickel position. And right here, you see A.D. Mitchell. We've talked about a 6 foot, 170 pounds. The other guy's got a few inches on him, but he's physical. And he's got some elite traits on the outside.
Offensive line trying to pave the way for James Cook.
Well, you got a lot of new faces. Obviously, Trey Hill played a lot of football at center last season. Warren Erickson looks like he's handling things well early on in this game. The world that he can eat. So I think that's one of the big question marks for this football team heading into the season.
They served that at 5-bar. Daniels over the middle. Almost got the stripes.
This throw right here, watch JT's feet.
Make sure
watch
it's the right
JT's feet there. Cole, I'm going to cut you off just because I'm getting excited about quarterback stuff. We talked about that jump throw. We can see that again. This is what we're talking about. JT's left foot, his front foot comes off the ground, allows your hips to get through violently and generate more velocity without having to push off and step into a throw.
It leaves 3rd and 7 as the sun comes out. They had him pressured from behind, a little bit high that time to White. All right, so
because watch this, your feet come off the ground. You have to be so disciplined with your shoulders. Notice his shoulders there stay level and his hips come through. Obviously, that ball would have been right on the money, I think, if that do a throw. So when you got traffic around you in the pocket, it's one thing you're going to have to do at this level and the next level.
Jake Camarda missed from 42, and now he pushes it right from 40.
So I think they're going to be better for it week 1, regardless of how that game goes.
Brock Vandegrift takes over at quarterback for the black team. He'll roll out on the first possession, and he fires a strike. Comes out of the bullpen, fire fastballs, and is able to find Steven Peterson, the Kennesaw product.
Well, I mean, the first thing you notice here from Vandegrift is the hair flowing in the wind out here on the run. I mean, unbelievable, but also a great ball on the run. He's obviously a very talented quarterback. He's a 4-star out of high school, big-bodied guy with a strong arm.
One service had him a 5-star. It'd be the first 5-star since Justin Fields at the quarterback position. Is able to find Kendall Milton. Now, we had a great conversation with Todd Monken in preparation, able to translate that into production and consistency on game day. And he made a really interesting comment as Vandegrift gets chased from behind on his 2nd and 5, and he'll scramble his way for a quarterback run and a first down. Todd Monken told us a telling comment that maybe as a staff, they felt the fear that they're going to let a great guy walk out the door.
Yeah, and you think about it, that when Justin Fields was with Georgia, he'd come in the game and he'd make mistakes. Yes, turned out to be something much better at his next stop.
Vandegrift's got some reps at the number 2 quarterback throughout the course of spring ball, and that one was on time. Able to thread it through to find Ladd McConkey. Defense and get the ball in the end zone, and now they'll have the opportunity to do that. That one popped up loose, and Vandegrift sandwich says that one is recovered by the red team.
Cart wants to see. We saw Carson Beck handle the early pressure really well. A couple great throws out the gate from Brock Vandegrift, and then your eyes, right? The most that happens for a quarterback is that millisecond
pass earlier in the game, and now the fumble recovery. And now Stetson Bennett. First snap, first attempt, and he finds James Cook. Bennett gives Georgia.
Talked to us about yesterday is, look, he's not getting a lot of reps. Beck's getting a lot of the 2s. Vandegrift is getting some 2s, most of the 3s. It's a lot of reps and provide a lot of value. Something that guys have to do at the next level in the NFL. Backups don't get a lot of reps, but you are counted on to come in and run the offense, whether you got reps or not. Something they're going to need out of Stetson. He won't, and so he's got plenty of reps. You know what he can do. But there's some other guys with a higher ceiling on the roster ahead of him. Oh, my.
Whoa, what a grab with the flag, and Kearis Jackson showing out.
I mean, vertical passing game, right? That's why they went to JT. Not much of that today, and all of a sudden Stetson goes, hey, did you forget about me? I can push the ball downfield.
Result of the play is a
Kearis
catch.
Jackson with a highlight catch there. That's a veteran. It's a
Zamir White in the backfield with Stetson Bennett. White dives for the goal line, and he is in.
Great push on the left side of this offensive line. Jordan Davis in there. There's some big bodies up front for the black squad down there, but great push. And Zamir White's going to get that one in from 2 yards out.
The point attempt from Jake Camarda, senior from Norcross. Fantastic one-handed grab by Kearis Jackson. Black team with an opportunity now, and a deep ball from Carson, back wide open, and just a little wide for.
He might be a guy that could get some looks next year.
Georgia will return 8 starters on offense. That one just in front of Brock Bowers.
But make no mistake, this is going to be a deep, talented receiver group when everyone's healthy this fall, and led by Jermaine Burton, who I think is an absolute star.
Complete over the middle, and the ball may have came loose on the back end after the catch by Brock Bowers. It'll be a first down for the black team.
So we mentioned Brock earlier in the game. 4-star, tight end, 6'4", 230. He's a guy that stretches the field. Darnell Washington, the big body tight end, is more of a blocker. He can stretch the field, but Brock Bowers, number 19, is a guy to keep your eye on if you're a Georgia fan.
I think that makes it difficult there is the defense doesn't really know how to identify him. So you line him up in so many different places. But he mentioned the youth again. He said, listen, we got a lot of leadership at quarterback, running back, but there's a lot of young.
Buccaneers, and was a head coach at Southern Miss. 1st and 10 now for Carson Beck and the black team. Under 2 minutes to go before the half. And that one was behind it. Finds a soft spot again. This is Bowers one more time.
Had 25 tackles as a linebacker. Talk about an athlete. The kid was playing everywhere.
Yeah, and that was all his junior season. Well, they've been as good as anybody in the country. Here's Podlesny from 35. And he punches it through.
Pads, snapping and throwing a football around, making tackles. So feels like an actual football game.
Handoff to James Cook. JT Daniels had some really interesting comments when he talked part of a culture shock. He said, of course, in L.A., you've got the Lakers, you've got the Dodgers, you've got the film industry, the music industry. There's a lot of things to distract you. He goes, it was amazing my first time in Athens. It's like, that's not common where I come from.
Welcome to the SEC. Just means more around here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's true, though. You talk about the culture. I thought it was in.
Monken did, too. He said, listen, even in the NFL, you get either 1 or 2 looks. He said, but with Saban's coaching tree and the match zone that people run, as Daniels gets pressured there and is able to get it off to Zamir White, it's a lot more complicated, it seems, when you
experience to just design an offense for one quarterback for Todd Monken.
Yeah. Finally get the opportunity to have a spring. And you got a guy like Zamir White, 6 against Kentucky. That was a run-first game for Georgia. It went so quick, Cole made his flight. Here's White again. Red team has 1 timeout remaining.
They're going to bring blitz. Nope.
Nope, he came late, and they almost got to him. Daniels a little bumping in the pocket, and they'll whistle him dead.
Surprise. Mostly spring games, defense plays a little vanilla. Kirby's guys are dialing it up. Look at that corner pressure. Probably in a game situation, JT takes a big hit there. There's been a lot of pressure. They're holding nothing back in G-Day.
Visit with Dan Lanning yesterday. Well, he was excited to get a spring under his unit's belt. Falling catch made, 23 seconds left. 22 seconds left in the half. JT Daniels trying to punch one in. Going for it all. Back corner and into the hedges. The pride of Savannah Christian High School. 10 seconds left in the half. 3rd and 10. Daniels fires. Caught! Great hands by A.D. Mitchell.
And JT put it right on the money to A.D. Mitchell, who they've been off page a little bit today. But that one was right on the money. You see the safety closing in. That is a heck of a ball from JT.
McConkey slips his way through. But he had a great spring. And he might be their most natural thrower.
He definitely is. I mentioned it earlier. Year, and I think we're all going to see how they grow just as individuals and on the football field.
A little bit of work for Kendall Milton. My motivation is the process to get better every day, to do my best in the field. To see a blitz come up the middle, Milton answers with it. And I thought that was
a superstar. I do it because I want to be really good. I do it because I love this. So it doesn't matter if it's Georgia or USC or Vanderbilt for that matter. He just loves football.
Whoa! That one overthrown and intercepted by Dan Jackson. And Jackson able to bring it back upfield. He
was trying to hit Arian Smith down the field, the track speedster. See what happens here. It's a post route. Yeah, it's what you got to do as a young quarterback. You got to realize that safeties can recover in this league. And so that ball has to be thrown much more on a line. When you throw the ball down the middle of the field, if you have a two-safety look, or even if you move this.
Jackson, he's a guy that's going to be a player for us. He's going to make an impact and get opportunities. Daniels completes it to Zamir White. One other nugget, risk anymore. Why did that resonate with you?
Well, I just was listening to the way he analyzes his game, how he analyzes football, how he analyzes his role on the.
I'd play Monopoly with you, but you'd probably try to flip Park Place and make it even better.
You would, Cole. True offensive lineman.
Little bump in the coverage and no flag, a mere speed.
Around. Todd Monken is keeping it very vanilla. Day one, day two, day three install stuff that his guys know really well and that doesn't tip them.
How about Devontae White here, Cole?
Well, it doesn't have to be a pressure. It can be a stunt. We've seen a lot of games up front, a lot of twists and slants, maybe some zone fires.
Matt Luke, former head coach at Ole Miss, in charge of the O-line. There's a lot of head coach experience on this Kirby Smart.
I was really surprised to hear Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning tell us that Jalen Carter is going to push for a starting job. Now, that might not sound ridiculous to a lot of people. He was a high-profile.
Where his dad obviously was a head coach at South Carolina. And we're getting a few more. Yeah, but it's probably a pretty good chance.
Yeah, just, I bet they got on the whiteboard a few times.
That one got tipped, a little wobbler coming out, and it was still caught by Peterson, I believe.
I mean, we all have been around Will so much over the last couple of years. Nothing but the highest respect for him as a coach, as a person. So just a great ad by Kirby Smart to have him.
Texas or Auburn or whatever my previous stop was. And we can make an adjustment here as Muschamp. Well, they flipped it up now, put Vandergrift back in. Cole, what do you got?
Just said he's having an absolute blast being back home.
That's really cool. Here comes pressure. And they got hands on him. And credit the red team with a sack. Noah Chumley to punt it away. And a fair catch taken.
I'm going to stick with what I know. Give me the beanie weenies. I know Cole's that kind of guy. Tom, you're a state guy. I could go either way.
There's John Fitzpatrick. Belay opened up the transfer portal, so you don't have to sit out a year as you had in years past, even though that had been by looking to the transfer market.
I think it's not only realistic, I think it's necessary. I mean, the West Virginia DBs coming over, but I think they absolutely need to right away. So I absolutely think that's something that Georgia has in mind. And I think some guys across the country may be looking at it. Yeah, I think it's both, right? Yeah, so you make a good point. I think there are veterans across the country that could go, we're not going to compete next year. I have some draft stock, but maybe I'd like to get more exposure.
Good thing for college football as a whole, and can you see Georgia making moves, and obviously it goes both ways. If you have a glut of talent in one position, you may lose guys. But how do you view it?
Happen. Could Georgia add a couple of guys? I think experience is what you guys mentioned that would be most valuable to this football team. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think they can go get an offensive lineman that's more talented than what they have right now.
Fantastic touch on that pass down the sideline.
Daniels, you've seen him attempt quite a few back shoulder throws. Not much has been open downfield, but you see James Cook on a wheel route out of the backfield working on a linebacker. It's great identification by JT to see the one-on-one matchup. It's a great ball placement and a great play design by Todd Monken. And I mean, he's a guy that can catch a lot of balls out of the backfield. They might move him around quite a bit next year.
I love that versatility out of the backfield. This is a 2nd and 2. On the run. Beautiful play, and it turns into a touchdown.
JT Daniels' hips. His body is going to the left. Watch his hips snap right there. He gets his shoulders around, his lower body is able to get through the throw so he can throw an accurate throw with velocity.
Jake Camarda for the point after. Georgia returning all their specialists. Camarda is the punter.
To his left, and he's got to throw a ball on the move in tight coverage. This is a very, very difficult throw with guys in his face. Very underrated ability there to get that ball on the money in tight coverage.
When you watch JT,
seeing good pocket presence and how he's moved within the pocket. Again, he's not going to be a guy that's going to hurt you with his legs way outside the pocket. That's not who he needs to be.
Here's Kendall Milton. Really interesting how Georgia has used its.
It's got to get out of the way if there's an interception going the other way, though. That could be.
Yeah, it depends on who you are.
Yeah. If you're Coach O, you might.
Freshman 5-star recruit at quarterback now, and here's Kendall Milton. I was talking about how Georgia has used moving into a more featured role. In 2017, it was Swift, Brian Harrion in 18. It was White in 20, and White in 19, and then McIntosh. And it's an opportunity the way.
I think we saw a lot of that from Kendall Milton last year, and he's going to take a huge step this next year.
Vandergriff over the middle, incomplete. Hey, Cole standing by with Monty Rice.
You know, run to the ball every play, because if not, you know, you ain't going to be able to fit in. Uh-oh. Sack.
All right, Monty, so.
Like, you know, he messing up the center snap count just because they so worried about moving him. Like, you can't move him. So it was honestly a blessing to be able to play with somebody like that.
So Kirk.
Or 12 days, so just getting ready for that. It's kind of nerve-wracking a little bit, but, you know, that's just part of it, I guess. Oh, come on, Lewis. Oh, yeah, come on, Lewis.
Call it, Monty, call it.
Come on. Oh, yeah, you got to love the turnover pass. It's one of the best traditions in college football.
Well, Monty, thanks for taking some time with us today, man. It's good visiting with you.
Thank you for having me.
Jordan, it was interesting hearing Monty talk about, and I think the average fan would love to hear more about this, as they get pressure on Carson Beck, the preparation that guys go through.
In a while, probably, but from a football standpoint, it's all about those technical skills. The 5-10-5, the 40, the vert. A guy like Monty wants to show that he's explosive and he's quick. So especially
absolutely look at players from programs like Georgia a little bit differently. They come with a little bit more stock if you're coming out of Georgia, Notre Dame.
To the NFL, more so at some of these programs than others, unfortunately.
It was nice of him to give us some insight, but he said he couldn't give it all away on how many different blitzes from him running routes in the backyard.
I thought that was an amazing story. And he made a great point. He's like, look, a lot of times you can't tell how fast.
In there. When's the last time you saw a guy running routes opposite trees? Here's Kurt Knisely, and he's going to take it off the right side. And there have been numerous issues from an injury standpoint that Georgia's had.
He wants to be a part of the team, and that's the way for him to lead. So I thought it was pretty cool. I hadn't seen it a whole lot myself, to be honest.
Here's Zamir White out of the backfield in black team. McIntosh out with an injury. As they go, ooh, a little extra at the time. What do you got? Daniels just off the hand. Talked about earlier the creativity and the versatility that they've used in regard to that position in years past is a way to get a guy touches by putting him in the, and we can still win, and I can still be featured enough. That wasn't a common theme or line of thinking, 10 years ago.
No, and I think you just look over. He's going to need a couple dudes to emerge on the outside, right? I mean, you can't do it all on your own, and with no Pickens, that hurts. Got a couple guys that are going to step up. I mentioned Burton a couple times when he gets healthy, but no one wanted to play Georgia.
No, that's fair.
I mean, and we talk about the playoff, and it's the 4 best teams. Are you telling me that if Alabama had the opportunity to play good, and the missing piece was JT Daniels when he started to get going at the end of the year, that's the year you wanted to see an 8-team playoff, right? That's when you wanted to see a Georgia team that just found their quarterback. If you
got to 3.5 minutes left in the scrimmage, and Cole asked him about being ready to play versus being utilized to play.
In California, where his high school coach got to meet with the Pee Wee coach or developmental league coach, whoever it was, and as a sixth grader, he gets up on the whiteboard and they said he was better than to compete against every day. This is Georgia defense, which was for a long time the best in the country last year.
So, Jordan, why do you think it took him so long?
Especially in COVID, where we didn't get to be at practice and be in meeting rooms as much as we're used to. Great bullet throw there by Carson Beck to Darnell Washington. What a couple of offenses last year as Monken was trying to adapt it to multiple people. And I think it's going to be special this year when it all comes together. And I tell you what, Georgia has found their number 2 quarterback. I've been impressed with Carson Beck today. Care about steak or beanie weenies? These coaches eat whatever dinner as well. So you better believe they all want the steak. So we're going for 2.
We got a throwback to a big fella.
Oh!
And he stopped short of Marius Mims.
Short of the goal line.
Oh, little sprint right throwback. Great job backside of noticing it. But look at that. The big man, you gotta hold that ball high and tight, son.
I lobbied for a center pass. A sprint out one way, center drifts the opposite way, throw it back, and then let me throw it deep. I lobbied for that.
JT to play in this one.
I mean, if they let me out there, I could probably sling 1 or 2.
Nearly
a little more
picked.
air under that one.
Great visit.
Much weight as you can get.
He said he's gained a lot of confidence since he moved in the starting role after Richard LeCounte. Here's Demetrius Robertson, the veteran, on the outside.
And a great ball here again by JT to get that up and down. Again, not easy to do. You got to throw it with velocity. You got to get it up over an underneath defender.
Sixth year.
Guess you get to play in a lot of games, man.
Broke Deshaun Jackson's freshman receiving records at Cal. Daniels going deep again. And all alone, Demetrius Robertson maybe created some space. He'll take another look, but he'll take it into the end zone.
But even a better job by JT, and this is one of the things that I love about his deep ball. Watch how much air he throws this with. That is a rainbow. And why is that important? Because he had to let that ball go early. If he throws that with less air, he's throwing it to a spot. Robinson maybe doesn't have time to shed the defender, adjust to the football. As you see, he comes back in for the football. But when you throw a deep ball with air, it allows your receiver to make a play, to adjust to it in the air. Watch Robinson adjust back into this football. He's only able to do that because so much air was put on it. One of the reasons.
Carson Beck trying to avoid the Ryan Davis rush.
I have personally been at dinner.
Just keep bringing the protein. Thank you. On 2nd and 3, Carson Beck will scramble.
That avocado thing. Whatever it is, get it. It was delicious.
Here's Edwards.
Season, because you know it's going to be JT's show, but who's going to be behind him? And I think that's Carson Beck.
He's going to unload on this one. Too strong. Trying to find Arian Smith. I know how much you like. 3rd down 5. To the slant. And that's good for a black team 1st down, and they're letting him play on. Well, Hicks took a lick out there shaking his head after taking a shot. Beck down the seam, incomplete. And time looking for Brock Bowers.
Hybrid tight end, able to stretch the field. Oh, and yeah, there's a couple guys waiting for that one. That's how you avoid those big hits that we almost saw there.
Oh, and we got
another
a big hit to shut down the day, perhaps.
Oh yeah, see, that's there's a young quarterback mistake, right? Cover 2.
Everybody in a 2-point. Here's a 3rd and 3. And Milton. Oh, somebody. 12-point deficit. Carson Beck trying to make it a little bit closer in the final minute.
Maybe this year, maybe in a couple years, but he's taking the most first-team snaps out of anybody, and there it is. It's a great drive. Great.
We got a couple birthdays coming up. We'll get some film in. Start getting extra. JT, just tell us how you felt out there today. Another opportunity to compete.
That's what it was. And it was a great day, I think, for everyone. What's up?
He doesn't know we started, JT. We're good. We're good. Yeah. Sorry, Claude's got it under control. He's the man. We're good.
Oh, good. I think it was a great day for offense, defense, both teams, really. And this whole spring, I say I've been really proud of how a lot of the guys have competed, especially some of the younger wideouts, some of the younger DBs that ain't played the game yet. You got to see him today. You saw Jalen Kimber. I think he played phenomenal. I think Keely Ringo's coming along really well. I think young guys like A.D. Mitchell and older guys like D-Rob, that got their opportunity and they're taking full advantage of it. I'm just really proud of all our guys in general.
Where do you believe this offense is compared to where it was in the bowl game against Cincinnati?
It's just older. It was funny when we started our first walkthroughs right after the season was over. You look around and everyone that's doing the walkthroughs was started against Cincinnati. So there's a lot of experience up front, a lot of experience in the receiver core, and obviously we lost some of that recently. But just an experienced team all around that's understanding the shifts and motions more and more, understanding the intricacies of the protections, how to run routes, all the little things that come with experience and time.
Always a quarterback directing traffic, people from coming in there. I like that. Appreciate it very much. Thanks. Congratulations on an excellent day, and I look forward to catching up soon.
Thank you. Go Dogs.